Well, we were gonna, and about an hour and a half before the meeting happened, the Narragansett Historical Society put out that the Motorpalozza is canceled for September. So, and it canceled means it's not being postponed or moved, so.
But you're skipping ahead again.
I apologize. We have to do the meeting minutes.
I have to do it in order or I mess up my notes.
All right, okay. So, everybody had a chance to look at the meeting minutes?
Yep.
Yeah.
From last,
Yes.
Anybody got any corrections that I screwed up again or?
No,
I don't see anything.
I don't either.
Somebody want to say we're approving them?
I want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Thank you,
presented.
Nicole. Can I second it?
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right, so the next on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Barbara White is still in acting as the treasurer for now. And would you like to give us your report, Barbara?
Sure, short and sweet. Since the last meeting, I did submit a reimbursement for Ann Lyons to the town for her state grant, $1,000, which we approved because she had already incurred all those costs for the play.
Excellent.
So that leaves us with $7,106.07 in the state funds.
Okay, great.
And then you asked about treasurer's town funds. Correct?
Yeah.
As part of that report,
Okay, yep.
town funds. So I will give you the total, but with an explanation. Town funds for the Cultural Council come to $1,625. However, 375 of that is for employee support, which really we have never used. And if, at least in my opinion, as a cultural council, if we ever needed support, we would go to the state because we have our representative from the state for our council. Unless it became, something, I don't know, if y'all get ugly and the town needs to come in and help out, then I guess then you'd go to the town. But I just wanted you to be aware that that's 375 of it. So 750 is for services, which we can use for funding a band, assisting in events that happen. And I guess then and the last one is $500 in supplies, which would be for like things that we needed to participate in events, like we have in the past, bought the steel drums. We needed another tent. We've got some art supplies for projects, those kinds of things. So that is the town funds.
Okay.
Any questions about anything? I have not checked the mail recently. Again, it is difficult to do that. I also haven't had a chance to talk to Kelly at all, other than her sending me emails, which I was gonna share from the state, just so you're aware. Any questions about anything? I have September 1st. Again, it is difficult. Kelly has to do a form. And as a treasurer, you have to agree with it, review it and agree with it. Emails. And that's September 1st. on October 31st, she and the chairman or treasurer or both, you're gonna meet to discuss section 1 and 2 of the state annual report. And just make sure everybody jives on everything. Applications for the new fiscal year open October 1st. Some of the dates have changed. The deadline for applications is the 16th of November. Used to be the 15th of October. The state is moving everything up. And then the final annual report is due February 16th. And they're doing this because there is no state budget yet. So they do not know what we're going to get for any kind of funding. They're hoping that will maybe in place by mid-November. So kind of until then, these are at least the guidelines for applications and everything. Will make it difficult to attempt to make any decisions until you know now what's left over and if anything else comes in, but then what we have. I have talked to the state at length about the last few questions people were unsure of. If an event is canceled, like the Motorpalozza that we just heard about, those grant funds roll over into the next fiscal year into what is called the grant pool. They don't stay with that person. It isn't anymore for that event. It was a canceled event. So it rolls over into the next grant
You
pool.
want to just call in?
If
So you-
we
you have to
haven't
call
heard
in.
from anybody who feels their event might be extended, we need to be aware that if there's people we haven't heard from, they could want reimbursement, because if their event occurs, they have from the date of that letter of acceptance that went out January about 16th or 19th, 2020,
Yeah.
that
anyone
approval letter.
can
So they
pull it.
have till January 16th or 19th of 21 to apply for a reimbursement. So if I'm not confusing anybody too much, those are the things you all have to consider when you finally know what we have for funds from the state and who's canceled and who has maybe or could ask for a reimbursement by January. Any questions? Okay, I think that's it.
Barbara, I do have a question about the applications for the new year. Will they be on our website or our Facebook page? How will people get the applications that are being accepted as of October 1st? Applications you mentioned for grant money?
Yes. Application acceptance date.
Is October 1st.
Yeah, you get them at
You get them on
Mass Culture.
You get your applications for, if you're applying for a grant, what you have to do is go into the state cultural council. And there is, as soon as it pops up, it will say LCC member. That's for councils, LCC applicant, and that's where you get your application.
And will we put something out to the public to let them know about that?
We have
Yes.
always put something in the paper
I
about the dates and all of that.
was going to do it in August because the original, the grant cycle for council says to do that in August, but since everything's gotten pushed back a month. It didn't make sense to do it that far ahead because the grants won't be available, the applications won't be available until October. So in September, sometime soon, in September, I'll put it out, I'll put it on Facebook, wherever I can do it, and and I'll send it to the newspaper.
Right, because we usually post it in the Gardner News, right?
Well, we can try.
Okay.
And not everyone gets the Gardner News anymore.
Right, but a lot of people are using Facebook, so,
I
So you-
think Facebook's the way to go, especially if you want to reach a younger and more diverse audience.
So it'll be in both places anyway, correct?
And it could obviously be on the town website too, right?
yes.
And heaven knows
Hi,
if
it's
these.
Sally. I'm here.
Hi,
Hi,
Sally.
Sally.
Hello.
Hello. And heaven knows if any of these dates will change, who knows? It's up to the state at this point.
But the process is still gonna be about the same. People have to apply for it. Then there's a cutoff of November 16th. And then that's when we have a meeting. We print out all the applicants and we discuss. And then in December, we turn around and have a meeting on who we're going to give funds to.
Now I'm wondering about those dates. Barbara, do you remember? Because the applications are available on October 1st. The deadline for submitting them is November 15th.
November
And then
16th.
we have to wait for the state to send us the applications because it comes in that thing they call. the
Right,
envelope.
takes a while.
And then we have a meeting to, so after that comes in from the state, then we have a meeting to like review them.
Yep.
And then we have the second meeting, usually in December, to actually
vote.
vote on them. And I'm not sure if that voting meeting is being moved now to January because of everything else being changed by a month.
It could. That's the only thing I didn't get any, kind of info on.
Well,
is,
because I'm hoping because that's really close. It's holiday season, you
I
know,
know.
and
I
a
know.
lot of people aren't going to be available. And
My guess is the voting meeting won't be till January. I mean, if you look at everything else being bumped a month from what it usually is, then my guess is the voting meeting will probably be in January.
That'd be my guess. That'd be my
Probably.
guess.
probably the first week of January, I would think.
And it's gonna be hard because people aren't gonna know whether to, what to apply for, or, since everything's still up in the air about whether anything's gonna be able to be open. So,
Yeah, because right now the limit's still 25 people, right? So. And
but it could change quickly.
I
If the
know.
vaccine thing comes and, who knows? But,
Right. Right.
but it's gonna be hard for people even to guess what to apply for this year because you don't know if you are gonna be able to do it.
Right. The other thing, this is, my last Zoom meeting. I'm hoping you're gonna vote in a treasurer who I have already said I will help, whoever that may be. But I still strongly suggest that you stay in touch with Veronica Ramirez at the state because she will answer your questions very, very quickly. If you want a phone call or if you want a phone conference call, she will do that. She's more than willing to help, especially if there are increased changes coming up and you don't understand them or something. She's the person to go to that will answer those things for you. And she's more than happy to do it. And I guess that's my treasurer's report unless anybody has any more questions. Okay.
I have a general question. Did we approve the agenda? I noticed that on the agenda, we were going to be talking about my being able to donate the newspapers. That I had purchased for the
Oh,
Lucy
yeah.
Stone tea. I wanted to donate them to the Gardner Museum for their 19th Amendment exhibit. And the committee was the council was going to give me tell me yes or no if I could do that, since they were paid for by council funds. And I did send you all a PDF maybe about a month ago of what I was talking about, the newspaper that I was talking about.
Well, I would make a motion that we allow Virginia to give those newspapers to the Gardner Museum, since they're having a program on the 19th Amendment and suffragists, and we aren't able to use them because our tea got canceled.
I second the motion.
I second. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and by the way, Lucy Stone, there is going to be a professional interpreter for Lucy Stone at the Gardner Museum on September 10. He will be coming. That's the only program that the Gardner Museum hasn't canceled due to COVID-19.
All right, so we can move on. Are we all set with the newspaper, the Gazette for the Lucy Stone?
There wasn't a vote.
I'm sorry?
There wasn't a vote.
Oh,
Oh, but I said thank you prematurely.
I say yes.
Yes.
I say yes.
Yes.
And I'll
Yes.
abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you again.
So to go back to the original agenda with we were going to vote on the Motorpalozza band funding tonight, but prior to the meeting, Pat received an email saying that the Narragansett Historical Society has canceled the Motorpalozza. So we don't have to vote on the band funding because it's not happening.
Lisa, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. If you, I apologize to everyone if you see me move around. I'm having a lot of back trouble. So I can only sit for just so long.
Okay. So unfortunately, there will be no Motorpalozza this season. So I guess we can move on to topic number 4, which is discussing and appointing a new treasurer. So I also want to say thank you, Pat, for coming back to the council. She was ex aficionado for a year to help us, and she decided to come back. And not that she ever really left, but legally she is legal on the council now. So we want to welcome her back. Thank you for
Back
signing
from
back.
exile.
Yeah. So.
Yay, Pat.
And so as Barbara White stated, this is her last Zoom meeting because she's what do you call it, aged out as far as being on the council. And so
I've aged out on a lot of things.
but so we're hoping that we will have someone that would like to take the treasurer position tonight. And please speak up if you want to do that.
I nominate
I would
Pat.
volunteer because I've worked with Barbara on these numbers for a lot of years. So if somebody else wants to, I'd be happy to support them. But if nobody wants to, I am reasonably prepared to do it.
You do a fine job.
Thanks, Jan. Anybody want to take the treasurer on? Okay, so Is everybody, so Pat, are you comfortable taking over the position then?
Yeah, Barbara will be there to as backup. And like I say, we've done it together for a number of years. You know, we've worked with these numbers together. So I think I'd be okay with it.
Okay, so is, anybody, do I need to make a motion? Anybody want a motion for, Pat Gale to become the treasurer?
I move that
motion.
Pat Gale becomes our treasurer.
I second it.
I'll second.
And then we have to vote on it? I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Okay, well, welcome to the treasurer position.
thank you.
No, thank you.
thank you, Pat.
But I don't want all of Barbara's paper.
Yeah, that binder's pretty intimidating.
I can't help it. It's the Bible.
I went
Just
to
so you
take,
all know too, I'm not gonna stay on like Pat did. Just because of, well, many reasons you don't need to know about. But the state is aware that we've had a hard time getting a new treasurer in. So they're okay, even though I'm not going ex officio, to assist the new person in taking that over. So just so you're aware.
okay, so we won't be seeing you then, as part of the council. So, I mean, we'll
I-
be seeing you elsewhere, however, just not part of the council.
Well, and if there are those days that all is going well, I would love to help at the events. I still have all those supplies here, so you know that.
Okay,
And I've organized them all, so if I can help at an event, I will.
okay, great. We
Okay.
appreciate it. We
Yep.
appreciate all your hard work, all these years. And as well as everybody that is on the committee. When I
Thank
came
you.
on, every single person that's on the committee that was on when I came on, you guys obviously have done a fantastic job, and it's big shoes to fill. So, and never being a chairperson, I'm real sketchy on some stuff. So if I don't seem as professional at some of this stuff, I apologize. It's just I've never done this before, and
I think you're doing fine.
Doing great.
We
Yeah.
appreciate
I think
everything
you're
from
doing great.
everybody.
yeah, and that's the thing, you know, having the council, it's a team job. So it's not just, you know, one or two people always doing. We all have to like try to make an effort. And this, unfortunately, this year has been terrible with the COVID. I was speaking with Pat and Barbara last weekend, saying that this council probably has never met so much in one year.
No.
And now we're forever in the Templeton, you know, access TV abyss.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So, and so we appreciate, Barbara, everything that you've done for the council, and we certainly, in the near future, appreciate your help with Pat, and obviously with, if I need anything, I know you'll help me out as well, so.
Thank you, no problem. And you're
Okay.
doing great. We all started somewhere.
So, so that's great. Pat's gonna be our treasurer. Yay! So, okay, so we don't, and to be honest, the next one is number 5, which is the new member appointee. Someone did fill out an application, and Holly was gonna get her, you know, approved with the town. I always forget their name.
Selectmen.
Yeah, the selectmen. And so I don't want to discuss her name or anything, because we don't know if she's really going to be on the council until she's official. So, and I did have somebody else apply months ago, asked me, so I emailed them an application. I kind of made my own, and, you know, just sent it out and told them to just send it out to, so I don't know if it's the person, we might have 2 new people. I have no idea. So, but the one person I met at the Kite Festival was very, I mean, she took the application, filled it out right then and there. So usually everybody's like, well, I don't know how much involved. And so she was right into it, and she's new to the area, so hopefully that'll be a good way for her to get to know a lot of nice people. So
Yeah, she seemed really enthused.
yeah, she did. So okay, so we don't have any new. Well, actually, Pat is a new member because she was an ex aficionado. So she turned around and did I say it right? Ex aficionado. So she now is a new member, and she is now the treasurer. So yay! Thank
And
you.
Yippee!
if you, other folks who have been appointed and approved by selectmen, if you haven't been sworn in, you really need to do that.
How do we go about doing that, like with COVID?
You contact the town clerk's office. Their phone number and email and stuff is on the town website, and tell them when you're going to come down. They will actually, somebody will come out to the back of the town hall and give you a quick swearing in, make you sign a paper, and it's all done. So it only takes a minute. But contact the
Okay, town clerk.
town clerk's office. And they're usually there like Monday through Thursday during the day, which of course is hard if you're working. But I would guess maybe since they have selectmen meetings on Wednesday night, maybe, you know, you could work with them to do it like before a selectmen's meeting in the evening or something. If you're working and can't get to town hall during their very limited hours.
I've been working from home. Most of the time, Wednesdays is actually my day in the office.
Okay, yeah, they're
So-
there Monday through Thursday at town hall, and it's really quick. You just have to let them know what time, when you're gonna come, and when you get there, you call their phone number and say, I'm here in the parking lot, and they'll come right out and swear you in.
I have the phone number. That's what I was looking for. If anybody wants it.
Yeah, if you could send it in an email so I have it, that would be probably best.
Absolutely, no problem. I'll do it
Thank you.
either tonight or tomorrow morning. So
And I think the town offices are open late on Monday, so they were. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's changed.
I'm not sure with this COVID stuff there,
Right. So maybe check the hours online also.
but if you give them a call and they'll work it out. It's easy.
yeah, they'll just tell you what's available, you know, to come in. And I thought that was pretty decent that they would meet you outside and, you know, get it done. So at first, like, we weren't doing anything because nobody was even at the town hall.
Yeah.
And you can't do it by phone and you can't do it by Zoom. So unfortunately, anybody that has not been sworn in does need to do that. So thank you for bringing that up, Pat. And so, okay, so topic number 6, update on council membership and reorganization. So we have that.
And I think we should move that Lisa be elected to another term as chairman because she's doing such a good job.
I
Oh,
second that.
I see the butter up. No, just kidding.
Yay.
Okay, yeah, well, I figured I would stay. That's, even though I did say it does unnerve me. I'm definitely getting an education for sure. So, okay, so.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Lisa into a second term.
Second.
Don't everybody have to vote now?
Yep.
Yes.
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 Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
And so I know, is that all the reorganization that we have for tonight?
Well,
Okay. And then, so I have a couple of things that I checked the emails, and I'm not lying, I really did check them before I came on. Where were they? So we had 2 people contact us, and one of them was the gala. Remember how we had discussed, we thought it got canceled? And I just heard from Deb today, Deb Giordano. If I'm saying her name wrong, I apologize. She is asking, we at the gala would love to have an extension for this grant 2020 that was approved. we want to use this grant money for the Gala Spring Art Show in April of 2021. If approved, then we would not have to apply next year for the same show.
They have to apply, I believe. Isn't that what she said? Isn't that what Veronica said? They'd have to reapply because that grant would not be theirs next year. The money goes back.
No, wait a minute.
No, I think because she's asking for an extension.
But
Okay, I'm listening.
I don't
But is
think,
the event canceled though?
That's the wording. We have to be careful because I started to say that to her. I told her I'd get back to her and I started saying if this, but I didn't want to lock myself into anything and speak, say something incorrect ahead of time. I want to be, I
but
want
Barbara
to.
talked to Veronica about that very situation.
And this is what she said. If the, this is the first part. If the event is postponed / extended, the grantee expresses they will request an extension. They have until 1 year of their approval date to make this request. And she says, you can extend their grants. Let me see. Forgive me. Okay. You can extend their grants if you vote and decide to do so as a council. They can apply, this is the interesting part, they can apply for another grant in the next cycle. It can be for the same grant if they were not fully funded. So in other words, the
Gala can turn around.
gala.
So-
I forget right in the top of my head and I don't have that in front of me. If we only gave them a partial grant for like the total fund of the, total of their event, and we gave them a partial, they can, if they weren't fully funded, they can apply for a brand new grant, even if it's the same kind of project, but a different version of it.
So, do you approval?
Does everyone follow that? Took me a while too.
I thought the money has to go back into the pot. That
No,
that it's
it
not
goes-
earmarked for that certain person.
It goes back into the pot if it's been canceled. Now, are we hearing Gala's been canceled?
But
Or-
the spring 2020 event wasn't held. And they want to extend it into the next grant year. And I would think that you could extend it in through this grant year, say like where they were going to do the spring grant and now it's going to be the fall, the spring.
So the spring was canceled.
And now it would be this, but if they were extending it to be the fall show and it's still within the same year, I would think that that's an extension. If you're going into the next year cycle, I would think that would have to be a new grant.
Well, I can only tell you what I read, word for word from Veronica. Here are the, let's see. Hang on.
Because she's asking, she used the word extension. Nowhere on her email does it say that the actual gala was canceled, because didn't it move from the spring to the fall?
Right, but
And
now
then
they don't,
fall-
that's not happening.
Okay, we know it's not happening, but is the word can't, I mean, I'm worried with the state and with people about the money, like, was it canceled? Because if it's canceled, then it's canceled, and then the
Well-
money goes back in the pot, and then she's going to have to the gala is going to have to reapply for 2021 for the spring art show.
So Mike, just listen, this was the question I sent to her, because this was kind of a similar thing came up last meeting. two different grantees are concerned that their events scheduled for October may be canceled. They are asking if we can extend their grant into the 2021 year. I said the concern of members is if it can be extended into the next year, can they apply again in October for another grant for the same event or only for a different? And again, here are her words. You can extend their grants if you vote and decide to do so as a council. They can apply for another grant in the next cycle. It can be for the same grant if they were not fully funded. Example, they were asking for 500, but you only granted 3. Or they can apply for a brand new grant, even if it's the same kind of project, but a different edition or version of it. So I think if you have, rather than making any kind of decisions, if you have, further questions about this, I would contact Veronica and explain the exact situation. At the time we had 2 people that were asking for extensions. And so that is how I worded it to her. It is a very tricky year. Veronica knows that as well. And she is more than helpful and will talk to you. So like I said, if you want to do a phone conference or do you want to email and get her answer and then email again, which is what I've done several times, but I've also talked to her on the phone. In all my years as treasurer, I've talked to every representative we've had at one time or another, and they're all great. So that's my suggestion.
I agree with you, Barbara.
I think that's the wisest course of action.
Because it just sounds like nobody's quite sure, even with the answer that I read you.
Yeah,
There are underlying questions. And that, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got questions and you can find the answer. Just ask it in the way that you're thinking of in your head, and you'll get an answer that makes sense to you.
I just want to be sure, because I'm not 100% confident that the money is locked in for that, because it'll come up when we try to do all the reports and everything, whether that money is firmly attached to that one applicant.
Yes, because it would be listed under
Because it's going
encumbered
into another,
funds.
because it's going into another grant cycle.
Yeah, but it would be
listed as encumbered funds.
encumbered. Usually when you do that form, it's not per person, it's a total amount of encumbered funds. You as the treasurer keep track of who those funds are encumbered to.
Can you define encumbered? What does that mean? Can you define the word encumbered? I'm new to the council, so I've not heard that term before.
That money doesn't go into the pool, which is all the money you have to grant. That money doesn't go into that for the next year. It is set aside, thus encumbered, for that individual person who asked for an extension and was voted to receive that extension.
So you feel
into another date.
So you feel
therefore that money is saved and set aside just for them.
Thank you.
And you can have more than one of those. I mean, it's happened in the past in my doing this, that you have those encumbered funds. And just as treasurer, you have to keep track of and make note, this is encumbered for, this. And then when you do that state form, there is a place to put what are your encumbered funds.
So you feel comfortable that that money can be held for them for next spring, for gala specifically?
I feel I have a sense of it in my head, but I don't want you to go on anything I'm saying. I truly, because, you know, I've been doing this for so long, there are certain things that, well, they make sense to me. However, if you have any question, do not go by what I am saying. You contact Veronica and you talk to her over the phone. So when she explains it, and you still don't understand, keep asking the questions until it makes sense in your own mind. I mean, I really think that's what you have to do. Because I don't want to go out on a limb and say, yep, this is, you know, this is how I read it. And I read it to you and makes sense to me. However, if I was still treasurer, I'll tell you this. If I was still treasurer, I would be not emailing, but I would be on the phone with Veronica, getting a final A-OK, is this what I am really understanding you're saying? That's what I do.
Well, it's because everything's crazy because of COVID and everything too. So
Yep. So
there may be different rules.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. If I was still treasurer, I would be calling her one more time and asking her to call me back. And I would want to get it firm in my head.
So is it the sense of the council that if the state says, yes, we can hold that grant for them for next spring's art show, that you would be happy doing that if we're allowed to do it?
I have no problem with it. Yes.
I'll talk to her.
All right, thank you, Pat, for that. And then I had a second email from Davis Bates about the Halloween party. I think, yeah, Halloween harvest performance at the Templeton Council on Aging. And he said that he spoke with Cindy Shea of the COA, that they may want to do this program via Zoom. If the town tells them in-person performance is a no-go, at this point, indoor gatherings are limited at 25, and the event depends on the amount of space available. If we decide to do Zoom, I'll be in touch about modifying the grant accordingly. I will still appreciate your considering an extension through 2021, which I've heard is allowable under the COVID-19 guidelines issued by the Mass Cultural Council. So it sounds like he wants to do a Zoom meeting. They're going to do a Zoom thing. And sorry, I couldn't even read the piece of paper. It's too dark in here. So
Jackie, do you think that would work for the seniors, for the senior group, doing his performance via Zoom?
It's hard to say. I do know that during the wellness calls that were made weekly by the CERT team, we specifically asked seniors how they were getting their information. And I would say the majority of them said,
Jackie.
Bless you.
Jackie, you
I'm
there
sorry.
You go. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that during our wellness calls, we were getting feedback from a lot of seniors that they were on Facebook. Whether they're comfortable with the Zoom format, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine this actually being a Zoom thing. I would think of it more of being like the YouTube thing, because I don't know, does he need to have does he need to see the audience, or do you think it would be a performance?
Well, I don't know about his willingness to have a program that he typically gets paid for be out there on YouTube for anybody to view. That may kind of not work for him.
Okay.
I don't know. I do find it hard to imagine that we're going to be doing an in-person program. Davis is great. I love him. He does a great job, but I don't think we're going to have an in-person program at the senior center at the end of October. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I guess we'd have to talk to him more about what he has in mind.
You know, this is the first I've heard about this program, so I don't have any information about it. And I'm hearing Jackie say that we need to talk to him more to find out specifically what he's planning. But is there any other information you can give me right now on what he's planning to do? Was this a grant that already was awarded to him?
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
explain what it was for?
it was a Halloween harvest performance.
Oh, so a performance. He was going to portray, to sing, to what?
Davis Bates he's a storyteller.
At the
Does songs. He's very engaging.
yes.
He
yes,
really
I-
does interact with his audience a lot. And I'm trying to imagine him not being able to do that. And it would detract from what he does. I've never seen his Halloween program, but like I said, we've had him many times. He's a wonderful, engaging storyteller, singer.
I saw him at the farmer's market last year,
Yep.
I think. Yes. So okay. That's very, I understand now about his program. Thank you.
So I would think that if the answer we got from Veronica about the gala art show would be the same answer for that. If we can hold the money specifically for him to do the same program next year, my only question would be, would the senior center want to grant him a venue for next year?
Well, that's the problem. We don't even know if they're going to be open.
Well, I'm talking about next year. I mean, well,
It's true. Yeah. I know. But that goes with I mean, we're talking a Halloween harvest performance.
so
So
next October.
right. So, I mean, are we allowed to hold the money till October 2021?
Well, that's why I said it may be the same question for the state, the woman from the state.
And I'm just concerned about how many people on the Council on Aging are actually going to use Zoom. So, I mean, I don't not want him to do the performance, because let's just say if he puts it out on YouTube, it's there for every single person and it will reach a lot of people. However, we don't have enough information to say if he's doing it a YouTube thing or is it Zoom.
Can he do an outdoor performance? I mean, I know it's a harvest
cold up
festival,
there.
but can he do outdoors? That way it allows more people to attend?
You still got to keep a space if you're outside. Because we did last week, they had a small thing, the light office came over.
And it was cold.
And it was cold, wasn't it, Jackie?
It was.
Yeah, so I mean, October, early
It's going to be
evening.
cold up there if it's a windy day.
Right. So, yeah, I'm at a loss. I really don't, I mean, I want him to be able to do whatever he can. And if he can hold it over Zoom or put it on YouTube for every single, it'll certainly reach a lot more audience. So I guess it would be the same question for Veronica.
And as I recall in his email, he said that he would keep us posted about his need for an extension.
Right. So the one we discussed last week, this is an addition. So he sent me a new email.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that.
I just got it today. So,
Okay.
but it says that he wants to do the program via Zoom.
Okay.
You want me to read it to you or?
No. But again, questions for Veronica on both of those, gala and this. Just get it, solid in your head.
Yeah. So he says if we decide to go to Zoom, I'll be in touch about modifying the grant accordingly. So I mean, he's letting us know step by step. So he's doing his due diligence to let us know how things are rapidly changing for him. And of course, we want to do the best by these people. I mean, this is their livelihood as well. So, and I remember when the COVID criteria came out, they were very explicit, tried to help and do what you can for the artists as long, as well for the, people that are watching or participating. So, I guess, Pat, if you were gonna speak to Veronica on that gala, I guess we would have to ask about Davis Bates.
Okay, I
I just
will.
think his venue, he has a venue. I mean, it's Zoom. I mean, it's not necessarily
Well,
the Long
but if
Evening.
but if he holds it off until next year, which is the second part of what he said, if he didn't do it on Zoom, he would extend it to next year.
Right.
We just have to make sure that the senior center was willing
Willing.
to have him in.
Right, and the senior center's just starting to slowly open, right?
No, we're not open yet.
Okay, so it was just something outside that they had for the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we
Okay,
really,
well, I'll ask that question too, and we'll see what we get for answers. I mean, there's plenty of time on these really, because grant applications and stuff don't even open until after October. So we're not going to be like spending the money for something else. We're not going to allocate those funds for somebody else now until after the grant cycle opens anyhow.
I have to put them to bed, guys. I'm sorry. If there's anything you need me for, text or email, and I'll continue to check it.
Thank
But
you.
they're
Thanks,
bedtime
Good seeing you.
7:30.
Night, Bernice.
bye, take care.
Bye. Sorry.
Night.
Bye.
I'm wondering if it would be helpful for me to interject here that the Gardner Museum is having an interpreter again on September 10 doing Lucy Stone. This is going to be an inside event in the Gardner Museum, limited to 25 people. It sounds similar to what
David Bates.
right,
but they're open and the senior center isn't.
correct. Yeah, I know, that's why I just thought, I didn't know if that was applicable, but
No, but we're all just trying to throw stuff out to
yeah.
try to do and help people and be that's what a committee does. That's why we meet and we talk, and again, I'm pretty new to all this, so we're all new to the COVID thing. So I've never had anything like this in my entire life happen. So it's just, it's quite, I'm quite taken back by it, because we really don't even have any answers. We try to plan something, it gets canceled or changed, or the rules, and I mean, they're just trying to keep us all safe, and I understand that, but it's not like this one little rule book that you can constantly look up your question. We have to keep constantly reach out to Veronica to get the actual answers.
Well, that's what she's there for, though. So I'll talk to her.
Okay.
And once I got that straight in my head, I'll report back to the committee.
Do you want me to forward you the 2 emails?
Sure.
That way you'll have them when you speak to her.
Very good.
So we really can't vote on any of that. I mean, I would think that, so until we have answers, we really can't even vote on any of it.
Yeah. But like I say, I don't think there's a big hurry, because the grant, when the grant cycle isn't open. So the money right now is just sitting there at least until January, because they would normally have until January to apply for reimbursement anyhow. So the money's locked up now, at least until January. So.
Okay.
But I think in Davis's situation, he needs to plan his performance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of us, I think in terms of us voting, he's locked into the money for now anyhow. So, but I'll talk to Veronica and get back to everybody.
Okay. All right. And so I won't email him until I get some more definitive answers for him.
Yeah, let's try to have an answer.
I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about when I talk to these people. I just feel bad, because I wish it was more black and white, and this seems to be a lot of gray that goes with it.
And it must be tough for the performers, because they're doing this for, council all across the state, trying to work out deals. So.
Right.
And the State Cultural Council is asking you to be as supportive as you can to the performers whose events, may have been canceled, because this is their livelihood. This is what they do. And 90% of them, every event that they usually participate in all summer long has been canceled. So,
right.
But talking to Veronica will help.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate to email, to answer these 2 emails, if only to say we will get back to you later, just so that they know
Well-
we've talked about it and
Oh, I already did that. I
Oh,
emailed them
okay.
both back and said
Okay.
that, I will let you, I will get back to you once the council discusses it. And, my initial email to him was that, we're checking with the state on how the extension works. We will get back to you with answers as soon as we know how to proceed. Sorry for such confusion, but we just want to make sure everything is done correctly. That's what I had written to him originally. And then as his venue was shifting to Zoom possibly, he emailed me back. So then I emailed him saying, we'll let you know what the council decides. But again, we can't decide until the actual state tells us what we can and cannot do. And so I appreciate, Pat, that you're going to call Veronica for me and for us. And I guess we're going to have another meeting on the two venues, the 2 situations. So, and but until I have information, I won't even plan a meeting because we don't have enough information.
We'll make it a quick one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. 6:30 to 6:45, and that'll be it.
Yep.
So I guess if anybody else has anything they want to add to the meeting,
I
Bueller.
have nothing.
Nope.
I guess I just have one quick thing about the Lucy Stone tea. Are we, and you probably can't even answer this, but are we tentatively planning to have it again, to have it next year? If all goes well, to still do
I
it?
would like to.
I was just going to say, as the Templeton Cultural Council, if I can't really answer for that, but I definitely, as like a church lady and someone in the community, definitely.
Okay, so yes. Okay.
I mean, it's technically, I mean, it's a historical society event. We were sponsoring it in terms of advertising and promotion. I think as a council, our sense would probably be that we would be happy to do that again. And I know the church ladies were disappointed that, we couldn't do it, and they'd still like to do it. We had kids who were happy to be servers. So I think from our perspective, the church ladies, I think we'd be happy to do it. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to be doing it next year anyway because they had to postpone it. It's a big thing. The right to vote, whether male or female, doesn't matter. It's an important anniversary, and everybody's going to make sure that it's talked about and celebrated next year because we just couldn't do it this year.
And it was 70 years of struggle to get the vote. So yeah.
Make sure you all go vote tomorrow at the primary then.
Yes. Is it at the high school? Is it at the high school this year still?
As far as I know.
Yes, middle school auditorium. Yep, tomorrow.
Guys, I love you all.
Bye,
If I
Barbara.
don't lay down,
okay.
you will see me pass out on the screen.
Okay, Barbara. Thank you.
I gotta bow out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I love you all. I am here for you if you need me for anything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so
Alrighty.
much for
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Okay, so
Virginia, is that enough of an answer for you?
Yes, thank you. I thought since the Templeton Cultural Council was a sponsor that it was appropriate to ask. So
Yeah.
thank you.
no, definitely. And as it gets closer, and if you think you need materials and stuff, that I'm sure that Templeton. But we don't even know what kind of money we're going to even have.
Right.
So if there's a grant that you want or whatnot for the Lucy Stone tea, just let us. You'll have to fill out the paperwork, obviously.
Right. Because Lucy wants to get that visit in with her Templeton cousins.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And I have plenty of tea bags. They're not going to go bad. They're still wrapped in plastic. So, And I believe
And the-
Nicole has a lot of sugar packets too.
And I have the placemats and all that.
That
so
is
the
for sure.
tablecloths, so, we're good to go.
Yeah, so we were all ready to do it. I was actually really excited. I had a whole outfit and everything. So, ready to wash the teacups, you name it, I was ready to do it. So, okay, so if everybody's all set and we have nothing really else to discuss,
I move we adjourn.
I second it.
Second,
Second.
Yes.
All right, and we'll get back to you guys if we need to vote on anything. It'll be I promise it'll be a quicker meeting.
Okay.
And I really appreciate everybody showing up tonight. That was because I really was worried about the Motorpalooza. So, all right, guys, everybody have a nice week, okay?
Thank
Aye.
you.
okay, be
You
safe,
too.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good
Thank
seeing
you,
you.